Hey, hey, hey!
Hello!
What are we going to talk about today?
Oh.
I'm thinking
dating, James. What about some of our craziest little dates we've been on, stuff ups, blow ups?
Yeah.
James has flipped a table one. No, I'm joking. Yes.
Yeah, I did. No,
I did. Oh, there we go.
I did.
It's all going to come out in today's episode
of
James and Jess's Half Hour.
Woo! Okay, so
straight
dating.
into it. Come on, James. Tell me a story.
Let's talk about he who must not be named.
Oh my gosh, that's such a broad topic.
Okay.
Tell me.
First date with he who must not be named. He.
Actually,
Yes.
I personally have no idea who he's talking about. But okay, tell me more. It's going to trigger in my mind. Tell me.
The person starts with A.
Nice.
Yeah. So, he who must not be named. Okay.
Tell me.
He rocked up and he was wearing...
Wait. Hang on. Did you walk past him on the street and you're like, hey there, what's cooking, good looking?
No.
Or what did you do?
What happened was it was arranged.
Arranged?
So, online dating and then meet up here.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it said meet up at
arranged.
the Asian Beer Cafe,
Oh, yeah.
Melbourne Central.
Oh, nice. The
For
classic
a
where all
drink.
true, romances take off. You just go to the Asian Beer Cafe and good old
Yeah.
Melbourne Central and Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just one stop from Flagstaff.
Yeah, it's easy
one stop.
access.
Yeah.
We'll just say that much. It's legit, not even joking, easy access.
So, yeah, Asian Beer Cafe. So what ended up happening was we went to the Asian Beer Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
I was there early.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on time. Never early. And I was like, I'll just order a jug.
As you do. We won't go with a short little pot. We just go for a jug.
Like, let's just buy a jug with 2 glasses. Let's just get right into this. I always have a million questions to ask. Do you, Jess?
Not really. I just let's have a look at their face. Let's see how their mannerisms are.
Okay. So
James is getting your... Yeah, you just want to know the personality, which
Yeah.
is actually properly how you properly do it, but... how I do it, but I'm for later, okay? I'll come in later and tell you my shitstorm of a situation.
Okay, so yeah, Asian Beer Cafe. What ended up happening was he walks in. He's wearing his tradie stuff.
I think he's quite tall. No, he's quite short. No, he's quite tall.
He's quite
a
taller than me.
tall lad. Lanky
I'm
little...
average height. He's taller.
Lanky little bugger.
Yeah.
I hope we're talking about the same person. I
Yeah.
know you whispered before, but I'm like, I didn't get what he said.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that person, who must not be named, that guy.
Voldemort.
Yeah, Voldemort.
Voldemort.
Let's just call him Voldemort. That's
All right.
a good way.
That's a good one. Yeah.
So Voldemort came in, and I was like, oh God.
Here we go. Oh, did he make a grand entrance? He's like, I'm waiting for someone.
He walks in,
Yeah.
and he's holding his Esky.
Big or small?
Medium size. Anyway, he's holding his Esky. He rocks up, and I was just like, oh my goodness. In a bad way.
By the way, what was your opening line?
I was just really
Why
nervous.
are you holding... Oh, yeah, okay.
I was just really nervous, and I was just like, oh God.
Was it the vibe? As he walked in, you're just like,
Yeah, I was just like, nah.
should I order dessert now? Sort of a feeling.
I was like, is my mum dying in the hospital and I need to get out?
Yeah.
And then I was like, do I message you and say, call me instantly? First impression was that I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Anyway, I was just like...
just go with the flow, see what happens.
I was just like, James, what's the word? You're being shallow.
Yep.
And you need to stop being shallow. You need to give this guy a chance. So I was like, okay, give him a chance. We started talking, And then it just flowed.
It just flowed?
It flew.
Oh
And
my
time
gosh.
went by quickly. However, there was one moment. So we left there, drinks were flowing, and we're just talking about how it was a really good conversation that we had. Nice, flowing conversation, no awkward pauses. Just
Did you talk about tradie stuff, or did you just get to the juicy bits?
We just talked about family,
Aww.
life, and
Like
all that
stability,
kind of stuff. And
foundation,
then also,
nice.
past relationships, past experiences.
Yeah.
And then basically we ended up at the pub just up the road from ABC Cafe. I can't remember the name of it. That one in the Melbourne Central one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we end up there and then we were ordering dinner. And then guess what happens?
What happens, James?
I say, oh, like, how are we going to, like, pay for, like, this? Like, that kind of...
I have a feeling I know exactly where this is going.
So I was like, oh, you pay for mine, like,
Yeah.
take my card up and you just tap mine and
Yeah.
then you just pay for yours and tap yours.
Yeah.
Because we're a card society, so you just tap. So...
Do they split the bill? Do they not? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, they will split the bill. Just you go up order, I go up order. It's for the same table number, and just say that you want to pay half on this card and half on the next.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, no worries. Yeah, absolutely. Goes up.
Ooh.
And guess what? He hands it back, doesn't say anything about it, and guess what?
What?
Next few days I'm looking at my bank receipts. And I'd paid for the entire thing.
Oh no.
But it works out evenly. Like, I don't even hold that as a grudge because he invited me away that weekend, and I didn't want to go, but I went anyway. He's like, come away. Me and my friends are going away. Come. I was like, oh, okay, I'll come.
Yeah.
So I went, and yeah, I went and met his friends. And they were lovely, and he was nice.
Did you then feel like something, or was it just still, I'll just see where it goes?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was never really, what's the word?
The sparks weren't flying, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Do you think that usually happens on the first, meeting?
I'm just a yes person, and I just went with it the entire way.
Yeah.
And like the whole relationship, it was just me, yes.
So you weren't your own person because you
Yeah.
were just going with the
And then I
flow,
would
but
just-
not really.
And then I would just
Yeah.
snap at him.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I would just snap. And I think it was just because I just kept on being yes, and doing whatever he wanted, and then getting basically no compromise on what I wanted.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then
That
I just
makes
snapped.
perfect sense.
And then, remember, he pushed his chair back over my foot in your car, and I saw red.
Yeah, that was an interesting day, everyone.
Yeah.
I was like, what was I doing? I was like exhausted from the day, and I was just driving in my car. And the next minute, shit was going down on the passenger seat. And I'm just like, I was like frozen there. Like, because I've got like this very little like cover thing for my like wheel thing. So I'm just grabbing this thing and I'm like, I didn't even notice what was going on until it was over and done with. I was just like, okay.
And then we broke up.
Yeah, and then that was the end of it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
And
a bit
then-
dramatic.
It was
But they
a bit
came to a
dramatic.
mutual understanding, right, James?
Well, I just woke up in the morning and he was gone, so it was good.
There you go. That was the end of
Yeah.
the fleeting romance where sparks didn't obviously fly at the start, but they just went along with it because, that's life and you just never know.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I learned from that relationship was that you can't just say yes and I guess not be in touch with your emotions.
Yeah. Like,
You
it's
gotta
a
feel
two-way
things,
street.
You gotta feel things through, and I wasn't feeling anything. And
Yeah.
it's like, why pretend? Why go along?
Yeah. A
And
lot
I
of
think-
relationships are like that, and a lot of people settle
Yeah.
for that. So it's good that you identified what you wanted. I think that was the key takeaway, yeah?
Yeah. And what I owe that relationship is definitely, I think at the beginning, trust yourself. If you don't feel that spark,
Don't let
Don't-
other people
yeah,
tell you as well.
yeah.
To
And
just,
don't-
you just
yeah.
don't know. You're just overreacting.
Yeah.
It's the first date.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just know with a person. Like, it's like a friend, yeah?
Yeah, it was like a friend.
Yeah.
It was like a friend who wasn't actually. We weren't in love with each other. It was just a friendship, and we were just both trying to make it work because we were both in a bad place.
Yeah.
And it
get
was
that.
that type of relationship,
Yeah.
and that's what I kind of learned from it was don't settle.
For less than what you deserve, yeah.
But it was kind of good because
It brought,
I would have never had said no,
Hmm.
and then
It
he
brought up
said
things
no.
about your personality,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
and now I can say no. I can be like, actually, I can reject people now, and I feel comfortable rejecting people because at the end of the day, if you don't feel something, you can't pretend,
Yeah.
and that's what I've learned.
You can only act for so long until there's no script, and you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
What do I do now? Yeah.
So, Jess, tell us about your story.
Well, I was thinking about, oh my gosh. Well, we'll start with the bet. Well, I don't know how this popped into my mind. It's that this was legit like far out, like 8 years ago or something of the sort. I was buying yogurt down the street, frozen yogurt. I think when they first started this bloody frozen yogurt stuff, which I actually love now because, yeah, I love frozen yogurt. But this is kind of just like, it was near the cinemas, so I walked in and I was getting, which I still do to this day, I get just a tiny bit of frozen yogurt and a billion add-ons, and then I'm just walking away with all these add-ons. And I was just like, got my add-ons, ready for the movie, but the movie was like an hour away, so I'm like, okay. So I started talking to the yogurt guy, so we'll call him the yogurt guy. And I was behind the counter and he was just, serving the customers. And then we just started talking and then we started gelling. And it was just like, oh, this is just out of the blue. And next minute I was like 10 minutes late to the movie. Well, the trailers, because, let's face it, no one really walks in the trailers. Well, I don't anyway. And then I was just, had my yogurt, was eating, gelling with this guy. And then he gave me his number. And I was just like, oh, cool. Okay. Well, this is like, seems to be a genuine connection that's happening here. And I was just like, okay. And it's funny because me and my friend had this bet the day before that if we, by the end of the month, if we didn't have a date, I don't know what the day was, but it was something ridiculous. But I got a date the next day. But out of pure luck, I wasn't looking for a date. I was just talking to people. Yeah, and then the weekend was approaching. It was like a weekday when this all went down. I was like, cool, okay, where are we going? We're going to the city. Brilliant. When I came to the city, I drove in, paid for my parking, as I usually do. Walked in to this random, what was it, Flinders Street station, and he was coming from the platform.
Yeah.
And then he goes, what?
Yeah.
And then basically he's just like, oh, you look really young. I would have been like 21 at the time, or 20, or something of the sort. Yeah, young. And I was just like, all right, we spoke about this the other night. Why is it such an issue now? I was just like, okay, well, yeah, you can call me young. How old are you? And he was like, I think 28, 29 at the time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, all right. What do you want to do? And he was just like, oh, I don't know. And he was then, from that moment on, standoffish. And I just found that weird because we gelled so well. And then all of a sudden, boom, And then we ended up going down, I can't remember that famous street in, where all the food is, cafes, restaurants.
Lygon Street.
No.
Oh, the lane.
The lane, the something lane.
What's it called?
Oh, people probably know. Like
The one in Melbourne.
the one in Melbourne, the main one.
Hardware Lane.
Yes, Hardware Lane. And there was like so many, there's like different restaurants there, right? And different cafes.
Which one did you go to?
We ended up going to a fish and chip joint that sold extra large sushi rolls, and he bought me one sushi roll and sat me down and started talking about marriage.
What?
Yeah. I'm not even kidding. And this is
on
why
the first day.
On the first date, and he was just like, yeah, that's why when I saw you, I started
Red
to
flag,
really think.
red flag.
I started to really think.
Nah, at least he's putting his card on the table. Did you like that?
Well, no, because he didn't let me talk, because then he started talking about what he was looking in a woman for marriage. And I was just, and he goes, look, my brothers, and then he started talking like this. He was just like, my brothers are actually getting married and doing all of this, and that's why I increased my dating life. And he just kept going on, and I was like, okay, great. But it was a great sushi roll. So kudos to the guy who gave me a sushi roll, but it was just, I guess it wasn't meant to be. And he was like, I'll call you. And he never did. Kind of glad, though, because we didn't really gel after that. First night we did, but I think he had his expectations, and I didn't know half the shit that he was talking about on the date. So that was the end of that romance. But yeah, looking back, it's funny when we started talking about, the topic for today will be dating and previous experiences. That's the actual first thing that popped into my mind, because it was just like, what the hell? But yeah, there's an experience from good old Jess.
Okay.
I got all dressed up and everything. It was actually quite cute.
How often do you go on dates?
Oh my gosh. Every once in a while.
Every once in a while?
Yeah, so solid every once in a while.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
It's been a while since I've been on a date.
That's a good, it's not a bad thing. Sometimes you just need to just do your own thing. Do you?
Yeah.
You do you.
Be happy being independent.
Yeah. And when the right person comes along, you'd be like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to identify it because you know who you are.
Yeah.
Not really complete, per se, but getting there, doing your own thing. And I think that's when you're at your happiest.
Definitely feel that each relationship teaches you something.
Yeah.
And even dates teach you something.
Yeah.
I always go into a date being open-minded and positive.
Yeah.
But then also at the same time, feeling.
Yeah, what are you feeling? What are you honestly feeling?
Feeling.
Is it the expectation that you should feel something, or are you actually feeling something?
Yeah. And too often of the time, I felt like after Voldemort, I went on dates and I was able to see, like, this is history repeating itself. Right now, you're in your feelings and you're not feeling something.
Mm.
So it's better not to.
Yeah, because you don't want to be in a rut or in something that's not true to you.
But then again, I did go on 2 dates and then I was like, I am feeling something.
Oh, there you go.
And one of them was, we went to a bar in Richmond and we had just a good conversation.
Yeah.
But I wasn't drinking at that stage. I was being sober. And I was like, genuinely think that this person is a good person.
Yeah.
And, you just felt
like a genuine connection.
Yeah, genuine connection.
That's hard to come by.
Yeah. And then another one was, we went to, well, I would say it wasn't until the second date.
Yeah.
And we went to a burger place in Mornington. And
See, something just like basic like that is all you need just to get to know someone.
And then just started talking and that, and I was just like, oh wow, like,
yeah.
Even on the first date when we just had a drink, I was still and then we had a second date. It's just like, I don't know, you just kind of
go with the flow. Do you want to? Do you not want to?
And then it's just also getting in touch with, like, what do you feel?
Yeah. Like, even with me, like, I went for another one, oh my gosh, like a while back as well, and it was just, the guy bought me an Alice in Wonderland, like, pancake, stacker thing from, where is it? The Pancake Parlor. And I was just like, it's something cute, Yeah. Some little, cool little memory when you look back. And just, like, if you want to, like, freak out and think it's a date and then you don't talk or anything, just, going in as good friends, or if you know this person for a while, if you don't know this person, just go in and be like, oh, maybe I can get a friendship out of this or something.
Yeah. I
just
think-
don't know what will come out of it. So just
Yeah.
put yourself out there. But if you're not feeling it and you just want to do your own thing, that's also perfectly fine when you're ready.
And also, it's like those times and those situations where the other person comes to you and goes, actually, you know, I'm not ready for a relationship, want to be a friend.
Sometimes they don't know until they start, you know, dating you, and they're just like, you know what? But at least they're being honest about it and not standoffish.
Yeah, I
And
like
just,
this openness.
honesty.
Yeah.
Honesty is the best policy.
You know where you stand, and that's important. And
Yeah.
you can move forward from that, and you can understand that, you know.
In this time,
this time, that's what it is.
Yeah. And if you guys are meant to cross paths again, you'll cross paths again. Like, I don't see how you're losing.
Yeah.
It's not a losing battle. It's just whatever's meant to be. I truly do believe whatever's meant to be will be.
I think, like, we live in such a world of win and loss and, like, you know, absolutes.
At this age, you have to be
Yeah.
doing this and, you know, have the best job and
that
like
your
have a
rela-
relationship, have a baby. It's
And
kind
that
of
your
like,
relationship has to look like this.
yeah, because everyone else's is looking like this. What
And
are you contributing?
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're not with the crowd. But that's so not true. It's all about your personal path and what you're meant to be doing, and just be happy.
Yeah.
That's the, you know, I think the big takeaway from this talk.
And don't try and compare yourself to any.
Because there's no
other person.
perfect situation.
And also the biggest thing as well is that, you know, you do have those first dates and you do have those red flags come up and you do have those feelings where you're just like, ooh, actually no.
Yeah.
And like, the biggest thing I think is, for me, trying to explain that to some of the people was trying to say, like, actually, I get a feeling in my stomach when I'm talking to you and it's not good. And that's why after the first date, I don't want to see you again.
How does that go down?
I've never actually said it. I've just been that avoidance. I was like, I'm busy. Like, I haven't
something of the
actually
sort.
said that
The
the
vibe.
reason the vibe is just off to me and I can't put my finger on it, but it's kind of my gut telling me, look, no.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah. And that one person, another person who must not be named, is a little bit, the first date was just like negativity. And
I've gotten that too. You just sense it as soon as they start talking. You're just like, fuck, how do I get out of this one?
draining.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like emotionally, and you try to talk to like cover the silence. You just can't. You're just like sitting there going, I just want to get an emergency call.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just, can't even explain it. Just,
Yeah, it's hard to explain. It's kind of just like a wall that goes up and you can't get through yourself.
Yeah.
And you know that there's a wall up, but you still can't get through. I know that's
they
how I
got
felt.
a wall up 50 feet between them, and like nothing you say, it's almost like they want you just
This, and
continue
this.
that.
And if
Yeah.
you don't fulfill my need, I'm going to find someone else. Like, you're replaceable. Like, I hate that feeling of
Not even-
someone.
I wouldn't say it was replaceable. I would just say it was very much, I know that I know, it was kind of like, I know who I am, and this is how it is, and this is the world, this is what it is.
And conform to the way that I think.
I think I know
Yeah.
everything's right, and I think I'm funny. I think my stories are good, my short stories are good, and you have to understand that I'm right about this, and I got the mark to prove it when all my classmates didn't get the mark, and I was just kind of like, ooh, wow, like, there's something going on here inside your psyche, because
it's interesting for a psychologist, but not for me.
I'm just like, wow, man, you've got some issues, but everyone's got issues. I've got issues.
Yeah, we've all got issues,
We've all
our own
got
personal
issues,
struggles.
But I was just like, there's something in my stomach that says, I just don't want to be around you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of give and take, you know, not
Yeah.
all me. But yeah, it's kind of just...
And attack.
Yeah.
Put down.
And it can't... Yeah, sometimes it's subtle
It's like,
too, and
you're
you're
a
just
bully.
like...
At the end of the day, I thought about it. I was like, you're actually a real bully.
Yeah.
You like to think that.
Imagine
you know
if they don't
everything.
even notice that
He
they're
doesn't.
doing it. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people, I do find that they do, but a
They're
lot
not
of people
self-aware.
don't. They're not self-aware that they're
It's like, that's your problem. You're a bully.
really, yeah,
And you put down others, and I don't want to be around you.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like toxic, draining
Energy.
energy. I agree.
It's like, okay, like, I just want to recharge by myself
Yeah.
and not talk to you ever again.
You know when you go through those like little relationships where you just want silence afterwards and you're just like, I'm just happy with just me in my room just doing nothing and it's just silent. That's when you know you've been around someone that's just shockingly shit. Because I felt that too, where I'm just like, okay, I used to go to IKEA and get the candles, you know, the cheap candles. I used to stock them up in my car and I used to just light them and just be like, I just want to be in
Alone.
peace, in zen, just leave me be. No one talk to me. I'll come out and get food if I want. Just leave me be.
Yeah.
I think we've all felt that. I've felt that previously.
I think, like, there's a very big difference in that there is the type of people who trigger you and you still want to hang out with them.
Yeah, and you know deep
And
down
you know that, like,
that it's some sick pleasure
No.
within you. With me, yeah. I
don't
find that
even
with
say,
me.
I wouldn't even say it's a sick
Sometimes I
pleasure.
know, but I still go for more.
I would
And then
say-
you're just like, well, that blew up in my face. I should have known.
I would say, to me, like, sometimes it's like a triggering that happens between the both of you, but you both realize it and you both kind of like take it on and you still want to see each other. When there's the opposite where it's like a triggering and you're just like, actually, it fills me like sick in my stomach. This person doesn't have my best interest.
No, they're just bringing me down.
Yeah, and I don't want to be around.
And you're just like, oh, no, it's going to be better. You know, the next time I see him, it never is. Like, if it's going to start off like that, it's probably going to end worse than what it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to be around draining people.
No.
You want to be around people who lift you
up,
make you feel good.
be at your best possible self.
Yeah,
Because that's what matters in the end, isn't it?
definitely.
Happiness. And it's hard to come by. And if you have it, do whatever you can to keep it.
Happiness? Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes we can take that for granted as days go by. But I think as well with the virus, it's like highlighted a lot of basics.
I think just being like in touch with yourself. What I think I've learned is that from a very young age, I've always been told, like, I've always felt things that I can't explain.
Yeah.
And then I've always been told, well, you know, you got to think about things. You got to be logical. You got to like.
But you know deep within what the answer is. It's kind of like, but the world's telling you something else. So you're just like, no. It's taking that stance. I think that's with like age, maturity, isn't it? You're able to be like, no, this is what I think. I'll take what you're saying on board. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what as I see fit.
I think like what I'm learning is that it's not so much about thinking anymore. I feel like I've gotten so caught up in my head that it's literally what I've been learning in like all my relationship is that what you feel inside is speaking to you and what are you feeling.
Yeah.
Get in touch with it because I feel like so much of us
that's the
in
answer.
the culture don't know. We're always thinking up in our heads. We're always thinking of the possibilities, blah, blah, blah.
This, that, they look great on paper.
Yeah.
But how do you feel? Why are you emotionally drained? Why are you seeing a psychiatrist now? Because just to deal with the person that you're with, like that's red flags, like no other.
Yeah, and I also think that, you know, we live in such an age of like logic and, you know, that there's an explanation and all that kind of thing. But sometimes you can't explain why someone
isn't your cup of tea.
Yeah, isn't your cup of tea.
Yeah,
it's just
and
like,
why the vibe is the way that it is. It's very hard to explain a feeling when you're just like, look, I just feel like crap. Like, I don't know what it is. He's probably great for someone else or she's probably great for someone else. But for me, it's just nothing.
And I also like that honesty where you can just go to someone and just be like, I'm sure you're an amazing person, but just for me, you're not my cup of tea.
Yeah. And they're either going to take it well or not.
Yeah.
And I think it shows great character if you're able to listen to someone.
Definitely.
And take that criticism if you can.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good chat. I
Good
enjoyed
chat.
this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Like, subscribe, comment. See you later for another episode of James and Jess's Half Hour.
Woo!
Bye.